Good morning, class. We are moving to the next part. That is already we have seen in the last lecture. We will just go through that some parts like relative biological effectiveness, radiochemical purity, and radionuclide purity. Okay, so as the name indicates, relative biological effectiveness. So relative means we have to calculate with respect to other, or we have to compare the two radiation's biological effectiveness. The one radiation showing X amount of biological effectiveness, another is showing Y. So the ratio of these biological effectiveness, that is X upon Y, it indicates the relative biological effectiveness. With they having the same amount of absorbed energy. So they having the same amount of absorbed energy. So okay, one is X, another is Y. These are the relative biological effectiveness. Now consider there are two rays, X rays and alpha rays. They having the same amount of energy. So they are allowed to fall on the same biological tissue or the same biological tissue, that is human body. Having the same amount of energy, so they will fall on the biological effectiveness and they produce biological body or biological tissue. So they produces the different effect. Suppose one is producing the effect 80, another one is 70. The ratio of these two, 80 divided by 70, it indicates the relative biological effectiveness. So depending upon providing the same amount of energy, how they will show the effectiveness with respect to each other, that ratio is called as relative biological effectiveness. With they having the same amount, or they are provided with the same amount of energy. Okay, so that is the relative biological effectiveness. So suppose they having the dose 100%, they having the same amount of energy. So when any particles, so alpha, beta or gamma particles are there, they showing their effect like this one. X-ray, it will show their biological effect like this one. Then the ratio of these two, d of X-ray divided by d of particle. Okay, the biological effectiveness of these two, that is ratio of these two, it is called as relative biological effectiveness. So relative biological effectiveness is the ratio of biological effectiveness of one type of ionizing radiations with respect to another, given that they having the same amount of energy. So relative biological effectiveness is dx upon dr, or the dose which is required to produce the same effect. That ratio also you can consider. So same effect means 100% effect we want. So for that, X requires different dose, alpha requires different dose. So if we take the ratio of these two doses, then it also provides the relative biological effectiveness. दोघांचा डोस काय सेम असणार नाही, एकच ऍक्टिव्हिटी प्रोड्यूस करायसाठी. एखादा डोस 40 ग्रॅम असेल, एखाद्याचा 80 ग्रॅम असेल, फॉर एक्झाम्पल. सो दे हॅव्हिंग द डिफरंट डोसेस to show the same biological activity. That is the relative biological effectiveness. Next part, that is the radionuclide purity. So what is radionuclide purity? Okay, so the name indicates radionuclide means the desired radionuclide showing the activity, and if it is present in the how much amount in the given radiations, that called as radionuclide purity. So it is defined as the ratio of radioactivity of desired radionuclides with total radioactivity. Suppose A is desired radionuclide. Okay, it is 90 milligram. B is the impurity, it is 10 milligram. So total जी तुम्हाला radioactivity मिळणार आहे ती किती 100%. ओके, सो ह्या 100% ऍक्च्युली इट मस्ट बी फ्रॉम ए. 100च्या 100 ही ऍक्टिव्हिटी ए पासून असली पाहिजे, पण ती सगळी ए पासून आहे का? ती सगळी ए पासून नाही. सम ऑफ दिस इज ड्यू टू द बी. सपोज इट इज 10%. That means given radionuclide, it having the 90% purity, and this purity is called as radionuclide purity. लक्षात So desired nucleus cell along with that undesired impurity, if both having the capacity to provide the radiations, B having the capacity to produce the radiations, so it comes under the radionuclide purity. Now B having 10 milligram impurity in the total, but if it does not having the capacity to emit the radiations, that means A having the all the radiations, so the radionuclide purity is 100%. Are you getting my point? If B is radionuclide, then it is 90%. If it is non-radionuclide, so all the radiations is due to the A. So it is the 100% radionuclide purity. So radionuclide purity means दिलेल्या डिझायर्ड रेडिएशन्स बरोबर बाकीचे कुठे रेडिएशन्स प्रेझेंट आहेत तर त्या डिझायरची जी कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन आहे त्या डिझायरचं कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन इज द पर्सेंटेज. बी जर ऍक्टिव्ह असेल 90%, बी जर नॉन रेडिओन्यूक्लाइड असेल 100% रेडिएशन्स आर ड्यू टू द it having the 100% radionuclide purity. Next part, that is the radiochemical purity. So radiochemical, so in the given radioactivity, how much amount of activity is due to the desired chemical form to the total radioactivity, that ratio is called as radiochemical purity. Okay, so दिलेल्या पूर्ण मध्ये केमिकल मध्ये how much amount of given substance is present in the desired chemical form, so that one is calculated as the radiochemical purity. Okay, for example A and B, A हा desired radiochemical form आहे, B हा undesired आहे, but दिलेल्या 100 ग्रॅम मध्ये हा 10 आहे, हा 90 आहे, सो 10% ही रेडिओकेमिकल इम्प्युरिटी झाली, पण 90% इज द रेडिओकेमिकल प्युरिटी. लक्षात आलं? सो इन द डिझायर्ड फॉर्म, हाऊ मच अमाउंट ऑफ गिवन सबस्टन्स प्रेझेंट इन द डिझायर्ड केमिकल फॉर्म. फॉर एक्झाम्पल, in iodide, this iodine must be having I-125, but along with that they consist of iodine with I-127. So this iodine 127 is said to be a radiochemical impurity. So in iodide, suppose it is 100 gram, out of 100 gram is 125 is 75 gram, 127 is 25, that means the radiochemical purity is 75%. So this all is depending upon the desired chemical form, the substance present in the desired radiochemical form. Okay, so radionuclide means desired radionucleation. So सगळ्या रेडिएशन्स मध्ये डिझायर्ड असलेल्या रेडिओ न किती रेडिएशन सोडली, यामध्ये त्याचा रेडिओकेमिकल फॉर्म किती आहे, हा रेडिएशन सोडत नाही I-27, तरी सुद्धा तो केमिकल फॉर्म मध्ये आहे, सो इट कम्स अंडर द रेडिओकेमिकल प्युरिटी. Okay, so I-27 is non-radioactive, but still it is present in the I-25, so it is said to be the I-25 is the desired radiochemical form, I-27 is the radiochemical impurity. Okay, so that is the difference between these two. Now we have started how the measurement of radioactivity takes place. So generally what the measure we are using, it is by the gas ionization technique. So one of that gas ionization technique is Geiger-Müller counter. So Geiger-Müller counter having the capacity to ionize the gas, and it produces the quenching vapors. Okay, so chlorine and bromine are generally used as quenching agents. So this is the construction of Geiger-Müller counter. Okay, so I will tell you, it consists of a cathode, cathode tube. So this is said to be the cathode. At the center there is a presence of anode. Okay, below that it is sample holder where sample is present. This is mica window. This is mica window. Okay, and all this is coated with silver. झालं एक सिलेंडर असतं दॅट इज मेड अप ऑफ कॅथोड, आतमध्ये एक वायर असते दॅट इज ॲनोड, आणि खाली एक मायका विंडो असतो ज्याच्यामध्ये रेडिएशन्स आतमध्ये येत असतात. ओके, आणि आतलं जे कोटिंग आहे ते सिल्वर कोटिंग असतं, आणि हे पूर्णपणे आर्गॉन गॅसनं भरलेलं असतं. सो दॅट इज द कन्स्ट्रक्शन ऑफ दिस गिगर म्युलर काउंटर. लक्षात आलं? नाव when beta particles from this sample it enters into the cylinder, so this beta particles it ionizes argon gas, and argon gas is converted into Ar plus, and when argon gas is converted into Ar plus it is attracted towards the cathode. ओके, आता आर्गॉन गॅस तयार झालेला आहे, हा ह्या कॅथोडकडे मूव्ह होणार. जसं जसं आर्गॉन गॅस तयार होत जाईल तो कॅथोडकडे मूव्ह होत जाणार, कॅथोडकडे मूव्ह होत गेला. ड्यू टू द मूवमेंट पोटेन्शियल डिफरन्स इज क्रिएटेड, voltage is created, and this voltage is measured by the voltmeter. Okay, and this measured voltage gives the amount of argon plus which is present or which is produced, and argon plus gives the amount of beta particles which is present. जेवढे बीटा पार्टिकलचा अमाऊंट आहे तेवढंच अर्गॉन गॅस तयार होणार, आणि जेवढा अर्गॉन गॅसचं आयोनायझेशन इन एअर पॉझिटिव्ह तयार होईल तेवढाच तो कॅथोडकडे जाणार, तेवढाच त्याची मेजरमेंट आहे ती होणार आहे. सो डिपेंडिंग अपॉन दिस वन, how much amount of beta particles present, depending upon that one, argon gas that is Ar plus is created, and this Ar plus generated they are transferred towards the cathode, and that Ar plus is converted into the voltage. That voltage indicates the amount of Ar plus. This Ar plus indicates amount of beta particles which are present in the sample or which are radiated from the sample. So that is the simple mechanism behind this one. Okay, so it consists of, in construction it consists of a cylindrical cathode we have seen, then wire anode, and the space is filled with the argon gas. This is the operation, just go through it. So what I have told, when beta particles it enters through the mica window, these beta particles causes the ionization, the argon converted into the argon plus, they are deviated or they are moved to attracted towards the cathode. Due to that movement is created, voltage is created, it results into a voltage, and this voltage measurement indicates the amount of argon plus, and this argon plus indicates the amount of beta particles. Okay, so this is simple one. So this is glass wall may be used. It is 20 to 40 milligram per centimeter square thickness. The tube is coated in the form of cathode. So these are the characteristics of Geiger-Müller counter. So depending upon the voltage, how much voltage is created, we are getting the graph. Voltage वाढला म्हणजे argon जास्त आला. So we are getting the this graph. Voltage कमी झालं म्हणजे argon gas concentration कमी झालं, graph हा खाली येतो. So this graph is depending upon how much amount of voltage is created, which indicates how much amount of argon present, which indicates how much amount of beta particles are present. The next part of the measurement, that is the scintillation counter. Okay, आता आपण Geiger-Müller counter we have seen. Gauger-Muller counter. Second one, scintillation counter. It is also called as liquid scintillation counter. Okay, just go through the structure. So it consists of sample is dissolved in the solvent, is added with scintillator. सो सॅम्पल होल्डरमध्ये हे 3 पार्ट ऍड केलेले असतात. सॅम्पल जो सॉलिडमध्ये डिझॉल्व्ह केलेला आहे आणि ज्याच्यामध्ये सिंटिलेटर ऍड केलेला आहे. ओके, सो सॅम्पल is dissolved in the solvent. This solvent must not be water. Water solvent म्हणून वापरलं जात नाही. So solvent म्हणून काय वापरलं जातं? Either toluene or dioxin. We are using toluene or dioxin. We are not using the water as a sample. These are the two solvents which can be used or in which the sample can be dissolved. And then we have to add scintillator. So scintillator is diphenyl oxazole. Diphenyl oxazole. So it is called as DPO. Understand? So in the sample holder, what we are getting? Sample dissolved in the toluene or dioxazole plus diphenyl oxazole as the scintillating material. So that is present in the given sample. Okay, so here तुमचं sample I suppose. So on this sample, the high voltage radiations or high voltage photons are allowed to fall on this sample. And when they fall on the sample, the electron which are generated, they are transferred to excited state. Okay, so he ground state, he excited state. Ground state to excited state ला जायला एनर्जी वाढते. सो एनर्जी ही वाढलेली आहे कुठून मिळते? हे जे फोटॉन्स पडतात ते फोटॉन्स मुळे ते गेन करतात. गेन झाले की त्यांची एनर्जी आहे ती वाढते. सो व्हेन दे आर गेनिंग द एनर्जी, दे आर ट्रान्सफर फ्रॉम ग्राउंड स्टेट टू दी एक्साइटेड स्टेट. म्हणजे त्यांची एनर्जी वाढलेली आहे. ग्राउंड स्टेटला सपोज 10 असेल, एक्साइटेड स्टेटला 50 किलो जूल असेल. सो लाईक दिस the energy is increased due to these emission, and then these emitted electrons they again come to the ground state आणि त्यांची एनर्जी कमी होते. कमी झाली म्हणजे काय? त्यांनी एनर्जी आहे ती रिलीज केली. सो दे आर रिलीजिंग द एनर्जी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ फ्लुरोसन्स. They are emitting the energy in the form of fluorescence. This fluorescence is measured through detector, and this indicates the amount of radiation which are present in the given sample. So that is the mechanism or the procedure or what basic principle behind the operation of this liquid scintillating technique. लक्षात आलं? सो सॅम्पल सिंटिलेटर प्लस सॉल्व्हंट असतं. बरोबर आहे? जे ज्या रेडिएशन फोटॉन्स पडतात किंवा हाय एनर्जीचे रेडिएशन्स पडतात ते ऍब्सॉर्ब करतात. ऍब्सॉर्ब झालं की ते एक्साइटेड स्टेटला जातात. बरोबर आहे? व्हेन दे रीच टू द एक्साइटेड स्टेट दे हॅव टू कम टू द ग्राउंड स्टेट. सो एनर्जी डिफरन्स तयार होतो. हा एनर्जी डिफरन्स कसा कमी होतो? एक्साइटेड स्टेट टू ग्राउंड स्टेट. हाऊ दे कम? दे इमिट द energy, and they emit the energy in the form of fluorescence. This fluorescence is measured, and when this fluorescence is measured, it indicates the amount of radiations which are present in the given sample. So that is the principle behind this one. So sample कुठल्या सॉल्व्हंट मध्ये डिझॉल्व्ह करतात? टोल्युइन or dioxide. And scintillating material कुठला वापरतात? Diphenyl oxazole. So please remember these. And generally this liquid scintillating technique is utilized to measure gamma radiations. Okay. Now here high energy photons, this is the sample along with the solvent along with the scintillator. So when they fall on the sample, the fluorescence there falls on these फोटो मल्टिप्लायर, त्याच्यामध्ये वेगवेगळे डायनोड इलेक्ट्रोड्स असतात. सो प्रायमरी इलेक्ट्रॉन्स असतात ते मॅग्निफाय केले जातात, ॲम्प्लिफाय केले जातात थ्रू these different dinodes and anodes. Okay, so primary electrons आहेत, they are allowing to fall on dinodes and anodes. So इथं जातात इकडून, likewise their movement takes place. Okay, so during that movement they are amplified in the same proportion. So similar here sure, and then they are connector, and through connector we can get the amount of the this one. So actually जी energy emit करून fluorescence emit करतात त्याची quantity कमी असते. It is difficult to measure, to quantify. So we are using the photomultiplier. In that photomultiplier, different diodes and anodes are present which are responsible to amplify, to magnify this energy of fluorescence, and it indicates, this fluorescent energy indicates the amount of gamma radiations or any radiations which are present in the given sample. So it is proportional to that one. So this it is amplified. So this amplified with the help of photomultiplier. Photomultiplier वापरून हे multiply केले जातं. So similarly here, high energy photons, it falls on the sample, electrons are generated, fluorescence is generated. So these are allowed to fall on different diodes and anodes, and finally they are collected. This collected is nothing but the amplified energy. Okay, so this is about the gamma scintillating. The next part, what are the requirements of radiopharmaceuticals? So आतापर्यंत आपण काय बघितलं? Relative biological effectiveness, radiochemical purity, radionuclide purity. Then we have seen measurement of radiations. This can be done by different techniques. For our syllabus there are two techniques through which gas ionization technique and this second one. Okay, so these are the liquid scintillating and second one Geiger-Müller counter. There is for our syllabus. Now next part, it is requirement of radiopharmaceuticals. Already covered this part. Physical half-life of these radiopharmaceuticals or radionuclides must be few hours. It should be decay into the stable daughter. It emits gamma rays. दिलेले रेडिओन्यूक्लाइड जे आपण हॉस्पिटलमध्ये वापरणार आहे, जे डायग्नोसिससाठी वापरणार आहे, जे ट्रीटमेंटसाठी वापरणार आहे, जे रिसर्चसाठी वापरणार आहे, ते फक्त गॅमा रेडिएशन सोडले असले पाहिजे. अल्फा बीटा ते सोडता कामा नाही. अल्फा बीटा सोडलं इट विल प्रॉब्लेमॅटिक. सो दे मस्ट बी इमिट द गॅमा रेडिएशन्स. Then their energy must be in between 50 to 300 आणि स्टेबल असली पाहिजे. 60 तर 60 सगळ्या रेडिएशनची एनर्जी 60 असली पाहिजे. असं नको की एक रेडिएशन 60 सोडते, एक रेडिएशन 70. इफ वन इज इमिटिंग 60 किलो electrovolt, it must be the 60. One is 70, it must be the 70. It is not like that one is 50, another one is 60, another one is 75. So if this difference is there, it is difficult to go for the treatment, it is difficult to go for the diagnosis. It means mono energetic, that is the single energy. It should have high specific activity, affordable, room temperature ला वापरता येण्यासारखे पाहिजे. इट शुड बी रेडिली अवेलेबल ॲट द हॉस्पिटल. पहिल्या पार्टमध्ये आपण हे सगळे डिझायर प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ रेडिओन्यूक्लाइड्स बघितले. जस्ट गो थ्रू दीज प्रॉपर्टीज. Next property, pharmaceutical properties. So as per the pharmaceutical properties, there are 4 parts comes into the pharmaceutical property. First one, pH. It should have proper pH. Second one, apyrogenicity. That means it does not consist of any kind of infected material. बॅक्टेरिया असो, व्हायरस असो, कुठलेही इन्फेक्टेड मटेरियल त्याच्यामध्ये असता कामा नये. इट मस्ट बी स्टराईल अँड इट शुड बी फ्री फ्रॉम पार्टिक्युलेट. कुठलेही पार्टिकल्स त्याच्यामध्ये असता कामा नाही. सो दीज आर द 4 properties which comes under the pharmaceutical property. Apyrogenicity, free from pyrogens. It must be sterile. It should have proper pH and it should be free from particulate matter. So these are the properties which contain the pharmaceutical properties. Next one, chemical properties, or you can say biological properties. As per this property, the given radionuclide must be present in the desired chemical form. It should not have radiochemical impurity more. So it must be have the desired radiochemical form. As well as we have to go for the pharmacological and toxicological studies, but we are giving a small amount of dose, so it will does not affect much more these properties. So ह्या प्रॉपर्टीज मध्ये बायोलॉजिकल अँड केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज मध्ये अजून एक तुम्ही चेक करू शकता की त्याची इफेक्टिव्हनेस ॲज वेल एज द टॉक्सिसिटी. पण डोस कमी असल्यामुळे आपण फार्मॅकोलॉजिकल टॉक्सिकॉलॉजिकल जनरली अवॉइड करतो, और इट डज नॉट प्रोड्युसेस एनी प्रॉब्लेम. Okay, understand? So properties मध्ये desired properties of radionuclides. Second one, pharmaceutical properties मध्ये pH, apyrogenicity, sterility, does not have any particulate. And chemical properties मध्ये it must be present in the proper chemical form. Second one, as it having the small dose, it will not affect the pharmacological as well as the toxicological problems, or it will not produce any toxicological problems. Okay, so these are the properties. Now next part, generator. That is radionuclide generator. What is the role of radionuclide generator? Okay, so generator means which can generate the radionuclide. Okay, so in the hospital or in the most cases, the required radionuclide generator is 99 m TC, ha radionuclide. So most of the hospitals, they having the 99 m TC generator. What is this? 99 m TC generator. It is present in the more hospital. It is easy to use. It can produces, or it produces the effective uses of this can be done. Okay. So these generators are generally replaced in every week. So एक week हा generator वापरला, then you have to replace. In next week you have to use another generator. In next week, so generally एका आठवड्यासाठी आपण हा वापरू शकतो. So they are depending upon the week. एक केलेला आपण महिनाभर वापरू शकत नाही, का ते आपण पुढे बघू. So generally they are utilized for a week. Okay, so that is the reaction which takes place in that generator. 99 MO, that is the 99 molybdenum, it is converted into 99 MTC, it is converted into 99 TC, technetium. So आपल्याला useful काय आहे? Technetium. Okay, that is the radionuclide. Okay, so how it is generated? It is generated by 99 molybdenum. So when disintegration from 99 molybdenum takes place, after disintegration it will produces 99 MTC. That is the desired radionuclide. But as we know that radionuclide, it is not generally a stable, it is unstable. So again it emits the radiations, and when it emits the radiations, it converted into only 99 MTC. So that is the reaction, molybdenum to TC to only the 99 TC. So this reaction generally takes place. So 99 TC is the stable one, but 99 MTC which is required in the hospital for the pharmaceutical purposes. Okay, so this is half life for conversion of this to this, and this is half life for the conversion of this to this. So हे जर तुम्ही बघितलं तर तयार व्हायला 66 अवरचा हाफ लाईफ आहे, पण त्याच्यापासून 99 TC व्हायला हाफ लाईफ कमी आहे. सो बघायला गेलं तर ह्याचा जास्त यूज होऊ शकत नाही, कारण का कन्वर्जन रेट हा जास्त आहे. बट इट प्रोड्युसेस द इक्विलिब्रियम. सो आफ्टर 24 आवर्स झाल्यानंतर हे इक्विलिब्रियम प्रोड्यूस करतं. इक्विलिब्रियम प्रोड्यूस करतं म्हणजे काय करतं? ज्या रेटमध्ये मॉलिब्डेनमचं कन्वर्जन 99 MTC मध्ये होतं त्याच रेटमध्ये 99 TC मध्ये कन्वर्जन होतं. सो देअर मस्ट बी अ इक्विलिब्रियम. त्यामुळे एकाचं कोणाचं तरी जास्त डिसइंटिग्रेशन होतंय, दुसऱ्याचं कमी होतंय असं होत नाही. 24 अवर्स तुम्ही जर जनरेटर स्टार्ट केला 24 तासात तुम्हाला इक्विलिब्रियम फॉर्म झालेलं दिसेल. सो द रेट ऑफ फॉर्मेशन ऑफ 99 MTC इज इक्वल टू रेट ऑफ डिके ऑफ 99 MTC. म्हणजे 99 MTC चा फॉर्मेशनचा रेट त्याच्यापासून डिकेचा रेट हा सेम असतो. त्यामुळे ते बऱ्या प्रमाणात 7 दिवस तरी ते व्यवस्थित राहतात. 7 दिवसापर्यंत आपण ते यूज करू शकतो. जर इक्विलिब्रियम तयार झालं नसतं वी कॅन नॉट यूज फॉर longer time, but due to the equilibrium formation after 24 hours we can utilize this one for more time or for the longer duration of activity. Okay, लक्षात आलं. सो ही रिएक्शन होते. या रिएक्शन मध्ये काय होतं, रेट ऑफ फॉर्मेशन ऑफ this one and rate of decay of this one to this one, that is the equilibrium. So it is formed after 24 hours. So what is the mechanism or how the actually the generation takes place? So through this injection through ह्या इंस्ट्रुमेंट मध्ये ह्या जनरेटर मध्ये 99 मॉलिब्डेनम चे रेडिओन्यूक्लाइड्स ते आत टाकले जातात किंवा ते इंजेक्ट केले जातात. हे ज्यावेळी आतमध्ये येतात इथपर्यंत ज्यावेळी येतात त्यावेळी त्याचं कन्वर्जन काही मॉलिब्डेनमचं कन्वर्जन 99 MTC मध्ये होतं. काही मॉलिब्डेनम हे आहे तसे राहतात. सो व्हेन 99 MTC फॉर्म हे ह्या जनरेटर मधून बाहेर पडतात आणि ते इथं कलेक्ट केले जातात. पण जे मॉलिब्डेनम राहिलेले आहेत ते बाहेर पडू शकत नाहीत. ते काय करतात, ॲल्युमिनियम बेड आहे त्याच्यावर ते ऍब्सॉर्ब केले जातात आणि ते तिथंच राहतात. अगेन दे विल emit the radiations, they will form 99 MTC. 99 MTC will be collected, but this molybdenum will be present only on alumina bed. Okay, that's why alumina bed cannot be eluted. काय elude केले जात नाही? Because they undergo absorb or they absorb on this alumina bed. So in this way the mechanism of working of this generator takes place. So injection मध्ये ज्यावेळी आत येतात हे आत येणार, आतमध्ये काय असणार, फक्त मॉलिब्डेनम. बरोबर आहे. थोड्या वेळानं मॉलिब्डेनम काही मॉलिब्डेनमचं कन्वर्जन TC मध्ये होतं. बरोबर आहे. हे TC आहे ते इझिली ॲल्युमिना बेड पास करू शकतात आणि ते कलेक्ट करू शकतात. पण मॉलिब्डेनम हा जो ॲल्युमिना बेड आहे त्याच्यावर हे ऍब्सॉर्ब होतात. अँड व्हेन दे ऍब्सॉर्ब ऑन ॲल्युमिना बेड दे कॅन नॉट इल्युटेड. ओके, सो इल्युटेड मध्ये फक्त आपल्याला रिक्वायर्ड फॉर्म ड्रगचा 99 MTC एवढाच मिळणार आहे. मॉलिब्डेनम रिमेन ॲज ऑन अँड ॲल्युमिना बेड. परत इमिट करणार रेडिएशन्स, परत त्याचं कन्वर्जन TC मध्ये होणार, परत TC कॅन बी इल्युटेड, इट कॅन बी कलेक्टेड. सो दिस प्रोसेस गोज ऑन and after 24 hours equilibrium is formed. So no problem, for a week we can use this generator and after a week 99 MO कमी होतं संपतं, we can replace with another generator. Okay, so that is the mechanism, working and construction of this alumina bed containing generator. Okay, so this much about today's lecture. The last part, that is the essay, we will see in the next lecture.